Well, we start this hour in North America, and US President Donald Trump has announced a 50% tariff on copper imports and warned that pharmaceuticals could face a 200% levy within a year. He says a formal announcement on drug tariffs is coming soon. Semiconductor tariffs are also in the pipeline. Trump confirmed a 10% charge is coming for BRICS countries. On Truth Social, he said details on trade actions involving at least 7 countries will be released tomorrow. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the US has collected $100 billion in tariffs so far and expects that figure to triple to $300 billion by the year's end. Trump says these tariffs will protect American jobs and industries. Let's have a look at what the US president said.
Things into the country, they're going to be tariffed at a very, very high rate, like 200%. We'll give them a certain period of time to get their act together, but they were all here. So we're going to be announcing pharmaceuticals, chips, and various couple of other things, big ones. We did steel, as you know, they're 50%. We did aluminum, 50%. Lumber just came out. Why don't you announce copper? And we did cars. And now...
Well, joining us to discuss these further announcements surrounding tariffs by Donald Trump is Andrew K.P. Leung, a China strategist who's joining us from London. Andrew, as always, thank you for being here. Let's have a look at these statements by Trump. A new copper tariff, a potential pharma tariff of up to 200%, also a 10% base levy on BRICS countries. Trump not stepping back on his ambitions towards trade and imbalances that he sees. How do you think the global markets will react to this?
Has been Trump's mantra all along since he entered the White House, even at the first time at the Trump 1.0. He already touts himself as a tariff man. He believes that he could weaponize the United States' position as the largest economy in the world. And of course, it's a high wealth country and also a military dominant power. Of course, the supremacy of the US dollar. So it's recognizing all this in order to gather more revenue. For example, the tariff revenue just highlighted, and also trying to bring jobs back to the United States. However, things are not that simple because the high tariffs in so-called tariff revenue collected by the state actually is translating itself into higher costs for the consumers because the no countries, no importers are going to lose money. If they lose money, they simply won't ship the goods to the United States. As simple as that. Then how are they going to make money is, of course, by increasing prices. And the prices are borne by the American consumers. And the American consumers generally tend to be the lower strata of the American society, therefore exacerbating the inequality. And then secondly, it's unlikely to bring back a lot of jobs because the kind of jobs which have been outsourced over the past few decades are generally low-end jobs. Some of them are quite polluting. But then the huge cost differential between the United States and the other outsourced countries is so huge that simply it won't be viable. And also the kind of skills, knowledge, this the low-end production is already been fragmentized. So I think that there's rhetoric. Yes, in the short term, it seems that they bring in a lot of money, but then it's laying the seeds for this disruption, if not destruction, of the American economy. Above all, it is also antagonizing Americans' closest allies in Europe, in other countries, in Southeast Asia, and even India, exception. In spite of the fact that China is now perceived as the greatest existential threat But then Trump said he's having a good deal with China because China is now retaliating by focusing on its stranglehold of production.
Yes, I believe